In my Ghanaian village, they called me Vapor, not for my speed, but for my stubbornness, as unmoving as the ancient baobab tree. My mother's voice, a gentle river, tried to carve a path through the stone of my pride, but I refused to yield. She would plead with me to focus on my studies, to see beyond the dusty paths of our village. Knowledge is your only inheritance, my son, she'd say. But I saw her wisdom as chains, her love as a cage. One afternoon, her pleas felt heavier than the humid air. I turned my back, not just on her words, but on her heart. With a foolish boy's anger, I declared I was leaving for the city, where my life would be my own. The look in her eyes, it wasn't anger, but a deep, silent crack in the earth of her soul. I ignored it. The city was a monster of iron and noise. Loneliness was my only companion. It was a letter, months later, that shattered my world. She was ill. Her heart, the one I had so carelessly bruised, was failing. The journey back was a blur of dust and frantic prayers. I knelt by her side, the stone in my chest finally breaking, and my tears became the words I could not say. Today, I am no longer Vapor, the stubborn son. I am the man who returned to the river, finally understanding that her love was never a cage, but the entire world.
I've always believed that strength was the only thing that mattered, a force to be reckoned with, a bulwark against the world. My life was a testament to this belief, a solitary dance of power and discipline. You could see it in the way I moved, every action a display of raw physical might, tossing massive tires as if they were pebbles, pulling vehicles that outweighed me tenfold, shattering stone with a single focused blow. Each feat was a declaration. I was Vapor, and I was unbreakable. My world was one of iron, sweat, and silence. I built walls around myself, not of brick and mortar, but of muscle and resolve. I thought this fortress of solitude was all I needed, that this incredible strength was the ultimate prize. I was wrong. The world was a challenge to be overcome, and I faced it alone, believing that was the only way to remain strong. It all changed on a quiet afternoon, in a place untouched by the clang of weights and the grit of my training. I found myself in a sprawling botanical garden, a labyrinth of green and blossoms, a stark contrast to my world of gray concrete and steel. It was there, amidst the whispering leaves and the gentle scent of roses, that I first saw her. Alara. She was sitting on a wooden bench, a book resting in her lap, her fingers delicately tracing the petals of a fallen flower. There was a serenity about her, a quiet strength that was completely foreign to me. It wasn't the strength that could move mountains, but one that could calm the storm within them. As our eyes met, the walls I had so carefully constructed began to feel less like a fortress and more like a cage. A flicker of curiosity, a pull I couldn't explain, drew me closer. Our time together became my new sanctuary. We walked through city parks, her laughter echoing where my grunts of effort once did. We spent hours in quiet cafes, her stories painting worlds I had never imagined, while I, in turn, shared glimpses of my isolated existence. With every shared smile, every gentle touch, I felt the rigid exterior I had maintained for so long begin to soften. The calluses on my hands remained, but the calluses on my heart started to fade. She wasn't impressed by my ability to lift impossible weights. She was fascinated by the thoughts behind my stoic gaze, the vulnerabilities I kept locked away. For the first time, I felt a strength that wasn't born from physical exertion, but from connection, from allowing someone to see the man behind the muscle. I was becoming someone new, someone I was starting to like. The true test of my transformation came not in a feat of power, but in a moment of utter helplessness. A sudden torrential downpour trapped us under a flimsy awning as a flash flood began to surge through the streets. The rising water threatened to sweep a terrified child away, who had been separated from his mother. My instincts screamed at me to use my brute force, to wade into the torrent and fight the current. But the water was too fast, the debris too unpredictable. For the first time in my life, my physical strength was useless. Panic began to set in, but then I looked at Alara. Her face was calm, her eyes sharp. "Vapor, your strength isn't just in your arms," she said, her voice cutting through the roar of the storm. "It's here," she tapped my chest. In that moment, I understood. I couldn't overpower the flood, but I could outthink it. I saw a length of sturdy scaffolding and a discarded rope. It was a different kind of problem, requiring leverage and quick thinking, not just raw power. It was a challenge that required a mind calmed by her presence. a heart steadied by her faith in me. I now understand what it means to be truly strong. It's not about being an immovable object or an unstoppable force. It's about being able to bend, to adapt, to open yourself up to the world. My love for Alara, what I once would have perceived as a weakness, has become my greatest source of power. It's the strength found in a shared glance, the resilience in a comforting hand, the courage to be vulnerable. My life is no longer a solitary display of might. It is a shared journey, a symphony of two hearts beating as one. I still train, I still push my body to its limits, but it's different now. I'm no longer building a fortress. I'm building a home with her. And in this newfound weakness, I've discovered a strength more profound and more powerful than I ever thought possible.
In the olden days, when plantain trees towered over clay huts, babies were born with the gift of speech. They spoke from sunrise to sunset, their tiny voices filling the villages. But their words were too honest, their truths too sharp for the world to handle. The villagers grew weary of the babies' unfiltered gossip. One day, a wise old man came to the village. He gently dropped a single bead of white cassava into each baby's mouth. From that day on, the babies still chattered and babbled, but no one could understand them. They spoke a new language, one only they could comprehend, a language we now call gibberish.